Allison here on the Oh So Sensitive channel, where I frequently talk about perfume by doing perfume reviews or sharing perfumes from my perfume collections. So today is going to be a perfume collection video where I talk about perfumes that I usually end up forgetting about. So these are my most forgettable perfumes in my collection. So if you're interested in seeing which perfumes I'm talking about, then please stay tuned. And if you like the type of content that I create, then go ahead, hit the subscribe button and the notification bell. And if you like this video by the end, go ahead, hit the like button. Okay, so in another video I mentioned that I'm going to be doing some purging. So with the mind frame of purging in mind, I went through my collection to see what are 4 perfumes that I largely forget about or hardly ever wear. So here they are. Let's start with, by the way, do you like my hair? I put it in twists and it was much longer as far as my hair goes, because basically the original twists were on blow dried or stretched out hair and they were kind of hanging this low, but since then I have wet them in the shower and they have shrunken up to here. At first they were hanging to here, but now they're shrunken. Okay, so first we will talk about one from the Juicy Couture line. I've been wanting a Juicy Couture perfume for a while. I specifically wanted Viva La Juicy, but I usually do discount shopping instead of paying for stuff at full price, and I just never saw Viva La Juicy in my local discount stores, so I settled for Couture La La because I saw the bottle and I was like, it's a really pretty bottle still. And I read up on it on Fragrantica, and honestly most of the reviews on Fragrantica were kind of warning me not to get this, but I was in one of those moods where I'm just determined to get something, which is a bad mood. I get into those moods sometimes, and they usually result in me getting a perfume or a product that I don't really end up liking, and that's what happened with this one. So this is a floral fruited eau de parfum. It was launched in 2012 and it's from the Elizabeth Arden line. Juicy Couture used to be an independent line, but they eventually sold their perfume line to Elizabeth Arden, I think. The top notes in here are mandarin, green apple, and red currant. The middle notes are lily of the valley, orange blossom, and violet leaf. And the base note is musk. So that base note, that base of the perfume, pretty much makes clear that this one is going to suck when it comes to lasting power, and it does. I usually like for my perfumes to have depth when it comes to the base. I usually like the base to consist of things like patchouli, amber, something, maybe some vetiver. Vetiver on its own is not my favorite smell, but when it's in the base combined with other things, I usually like it. But my description of this perfume is that it is a boring fruity floral. Most of the perfumes that I'm going to mention today are either fruity floral, or even if they're not officially categorized as fruity floral by Fragrantica, I still think they're a fruity floral. So like I said before, the lasting power on this is bleak. It dies pretty quickly. The other thing is that the sillage is not that great. When I spray it on, I immediately forget that I'm wearing it. Like when I spray it and I walk out the door, my day ends up being ruined because I don't smell anything. I don't feel like I'm wearing perfume, and my day feels incomplete if I don't feel like I'm wearing perfume. If I forget to wear perfume, goodness forbid, I really feel off. But if I wear perfume and it still feels like I'm not wearing perfume, I still feel off, and that's what happens with this one. Even though the bottle is really pretty and it will look really pretty on your vanity, if you're into showing off bottles, this is an okay bottle to have. But I'm not into showing off bottles. I'm into keeping bottles in the box in order to preserve the juice. So the other thing is that this is overly blended. Usually when you think of a perfume and you think of a perfume being a good perfume, you think a well-blended perfume is a good thing, and it is a good thing. But you never think a perfume can be overly blended. That's what this one is. It's overly blended. I can't really distinguish anything about the perfume, even though it has all these notes. It has mandarin, green apple, red currant. I love my currants. I love black currant, I love red currant. But it has orange blossom. Orange blossom is one of my favorite notes. but you don't really smell any of that. This just smells like everything was thrown together in a blender and you just ended up with this razzmatazz juice or whatever. So my basic issue is that even though I don't necessarily want the notes in a perfume to stand out in a garish or blaring way, I still want to be able to pick up on something. I still want to be like, I can smell the green apple in here. Like, oh, now I smell the black currant or the red currant. All I'm ever really able to pick up if I spray this and sniff hard is the green apple. So like I said before, the one good thing about this is that the bottle is pretty, but I don't care about pretty bottles as much as I care about good juice. And again, the other issue is that the base is weak. So that's why I forget about this, and I know that at some point I'm either going to give this away or sell it. When I think of the perfumes that I want to give away, I also like, if I don't like it, who else will like it? But somebody might. Okay, next up is one from my girl Riri. This is Riri by Rihanna. Look at this. Let me tell you one problem I have with this. One problem I have with this is that the juice fades. The juice starts off as a pink juice, but the longer you have this bottle, it's going to be clear, which maybe pink is a hard dye to get to stick around, but if people know that, then one way that they could prevent this is if when they make the bottle, they put a pink base at the bottom. Because I've seen Juicy Couture bottles where on the back of the bottle is a gold overlay, so even when the juice is clear, it looks gold because of the design of the bottle. So if they had put an overlay of pink here at the bottom, the juice would still reflect pink, but now the juice is completely clear. So this one is a fruity floral also. It's an eau de parfum launched in 2015. The perfumer is Steve de Mercado, and for the fragrance composition we have passion fruit extract, rum absolute, black currant, and Italian mandarin in the top, Japanese honeysuckle, orange blossom, jasmine, and pink freesia in the middle, and then in the base we have Madagascar vanilla, skin musk, and Indonesian sandalwood. So the reason I picked this was for two reasons. I wanted to add it to my collection because I have quite a collection of Rihanna perfumes, and it just kept being in my mind that I kind of want all of their perfumes released by Rihanna. But after getting this one, I was like, I don't have to get all of them. So the other reason I wanted this is because I had read so many reviews saying it was a dupe for Pink Chiffon by Bath & Body Works. There was a moment where Pink Chiffon by Bath & Body Works was one of my favorite perfumes. But what I have realized at the tender age of 38 years old is I have kind of outgrown that phase of my life where I liked the sugary cotton candy vibe. The only perfume that's along the sugary cotton candy vibe that I'm going to keep in my collection is Pink Sugar, and that's because it doesn't stay quite in the cotton candy lane because it has that licorice smell and it has that burnt sugar smell, so it kind of moves past the cotton candy smell, and it has more depth, and the lasting power is amazing. So even though a lot of times Pink Sugar smells too young for me, there are days when I enjoy wearing it because it still has some other elements involving depth and lasting power. This one, the lasting power is not there. To me, this is the least unique scent from the house of Rihanna. I feel like a lot of the perfumes from Rihanna's line, particularly her line with Parlou fragrances, which I'm assuming that her contract with Parlou fragrances has ended and she will now release perfumes through her Luxe Fenty line, which I'm excited for. What will she bring to the table in regards to Fenty perfume? I'm excited. Everybody else is like, where's the album? I'm like, where's the perfume? Where's the new perfume? But all the perfumes I have smelled by Rihanna, I feel like this is the least unique, obviously because it reminds me of a Bath & Body Works perfume. But I do feel like this one is an easy gift to give a teenage girl, and probably because it has that pink sugar, well, not pink sugar, it has more of that cotton candy smell. This one has a little bit of depth to it. It doesn't smell exactly like pink sugar. It doesn't smell exactly like cotton candy. It has some other things going on, but overall it just gives me like that warm cotton candy vibe. The dry down on this is nicer. I like the dry down. more because it's less headachy. That's another issue I have with all of these perfumes, really. For some reason, they induce headaches. So that's probably the other reason I don't wear these as much. But if I were trying to figure out a base or a target for this perfume, teenage girls. And I'm not a teenage girl, so that's probably why I don't connect with this perfume. Next up, we have Very Hollywood by Michael Kors. Now, Michael Kors as a brand is not a brand that really draws my attention. The only thing from the Michael Kors brand that has really caught my attention is his brand is confusing because he has quite a few perfumes that are named something like Michael Kors perfume. So it's like, which Michael Kors perfume are you talking about? But there's one that is pretty much a dupe for Gucci Bloom, but in a less woody and green way. It's more of a bright tuberose instead of a green tuberose. So that's probably the only Michael Kors perfume I'm interested in. This was gifted to me, and when I smelled it, okay, of everything that I'm mentioning today, this smells the best. It's actually something that when I smell it from the cap, I like. So let me give you the basics. This is a floral eau de parfum that was launched in 2009, and the perfumers are Pascal Garin and Laurent Le Guernec. Okay. In the top notes, you have mandarin orange, bergamot, and raspberry. In the middle, you have jasmine, ylang ylang, gardenia, and orris root. And in the base, you have amber, oat moss, and vetiver. If I judge the perfume just by the fragrance composition, this sounds like a perfume that's right up my alley. And I think of this perfume as a creamy, sweet floral. But my problem with it is that it fades quickly. When I spray this, when I first spray it, I'm like, this smells good. And then like a few hours later, it's gone. But again, when I smell it in the cap, this is delicious. This is my style. But it fades quickly, and when I spray it on my skin, for whatever reason, it triggers headaches for me. So that's another reason that I can't get into this one. Okay, last but not least is this beautiful, unique bottle, and this is Reveal by Calvin Klein. So basically, this is a floral woody musk eau de parfum launched in 2014, and the perfumer is Anne Gottlieb, or Gottlieb. The top notes are sea salt, white pepper, pink pepper, and black pepper. The middle notes are iris and ambergris, and the base notes are sandalwood, cashmere, vetiver, and musk. So this has some complexity. This has some changeability as far as like when you first smell it versus how it smells sometime later. This smells really good in the cap. When I was getting my thoughts together for this video and I smelled it from the cap, I was like, do I have a problem with this? Then I sprayed it on my skin and I was like, oh, I remember now. So basically, when I smell it from the cap, this has a beachy, gentle sweetness with a touch of spiciness that I enjoy smelling from the cap. But when I spray it on my skin, it turns weird and gross. When I spray it on my skin, it becomes sharp, cloying, and almost dirty smelling. And I can still catch the sweetness, but the sweetness is mixed in with that weird, dirty smell. And it might be because of the ambergris. I don't know if real ambergris in here or synthetic ambergris. Usually synthetic ambergris is just noted as ambroxan. But ambergris is animalic / fecal. Do you know what fecal means? Fecal means boo-boo. But basically, ambergris is petrified whale poo, particularly from the sperm whale. I mention that because at first, when I read the description too fast, I thought ambergris was petrified sperm from a whale. And I was like, what? It's not that, but it's not much better. It's petrified poo from the sperm whale. I feel like my nose picks up the fecalness in ambergris because I feel like the only perfume I've smelled that has ambergris that I didn't like gag a little bit is by Dusita Perfumes, and that one is the Splendiris. I had a sample of it, and when I wore it, I enjoyed wearing it. It stayed really close to the skin, but it was nice and creamy and soft powdery at the same time, and it didn't smell fecal. But everything else I've smelled that has ambergris in it, it smells fecal. My nose can pick up on the fact that this has poo in it, especially when I spray it on my skin. Some people's skin perhaps can cancel out that poo smell. My skin does not. My skin is like, you just sprayed poo on me. That's boo-boo. That's boo-boo. You just sprayed on me. That's what my skin does. My skin runs its mouth and just wants everybody to know, y'all, she sprayed boo-boo on her. She sprayed boo-boo on us. That's how my skin responds to ambergris. So that's why this doesn't really work for me, because this is one of these scents that when I spray it on me and the fact that it has ambergris, I can tell. Maybe other people can't tell. I don't know, but I can tell. Okay, so that concludes the video. Those are the 4 most forgettable scents in my collection.